And I'm coming through this section of woods and I see this thing in the corner of my eye and I look and it's an owl with about a 5 foot wingspan, about 3 feet from me, just swoops and turns. And I'm like, oh shit.
It's Golden Hour Adventure Time, featuring everyday people doing extraordinary things. From the peaks of victory to the valleys of defeat, these are their stories. Now, from the back of the pack, your hosts, Justin and Robbie.
Welcome to Golden Hour Adventures. As it always happens, before you hit record, you just have some amazing banter. We're laughing, and so I just had to stop us and get into it. Today's guest is Jeff Greer. Jeff has been on the podcast before, not physically, but his story. If you remember back the Halloween episode, Spooky Tales from the Trails. Actually, Robbie, I didn't even have to look that up. I just remembered that. So that's pretty impressive there. But Spooky Tales from the Trails, Jeff's owl story, which had Robbie and I in stitches when we were telling it. I had to bring him back on because I saw him on Instagram running in this hat, this owl hat. And I'm like, all right, we got to get you on. We got to have the story from your voice. We got to hear about the hat. So Jeff, take it away. Tell us the owl story.
Well, so I live in Seattle, and right next to where I live is this awesome trail park. You would never know, you would never realize it was much of a like trip for trail runners. It's great. You can get some pretty serious time out there, and I've tried to hit every trail and hide and find all the good spots, and so it's just so convenient to run. So lots of people run out there, and it's just been known that there's this owl presence, particularly the barred owl, which is pictured on the hat, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. But and a couple of years ago, I was out there, had a buddy took a video of this. He's got this video. It looks like the Blair Witch Project, right? He's running and like, what the heck? He said this owl swooped down. I thought it was a branch, so I stuck my arm up and hit the owl. And then I saw it was an owl and turned to videotape the owl. And then the owl jumped at him again and started chasing him down the hill. So there's this like shaky video of him running down the hill. I'm like, seriously, this didn't really happen.
Oh my
Although we did
gosh.
stay away from that section of the trail for quite a long time. And then I was like, oh, okay, whatever. One night, it was last spring. I was just getting back into running from a serious ankle injury, and it was one of my first trail runs. And it was like, I'm back. I want to be on the trails, and I know it's getting sun setting, early, but I got to get out. So I get out to work, and I'm running, and the sun had just set. And I'm coming through this section of woods, and I see this thing in the corner of my eye, and I look, and it's an owl with about a 5 foot wingspan, about 3 feet from me, just swoops and turns. And I'm like, oh shit! And I sprint as fast as I can out of there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's finally happened to me. And because I had heard the stories, and I had a couple friends who, the owl swooped down, and whatever.
Isn't it
And
funny?
so
You hear these stories and you believe them, but you somewhat don't believe them.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I just got to see it for myself.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of wanted to just believe it from a distance, but so then, summer happens, whatever. It's light, you're not running in the dark anymore. And then fall comes up, and I got a buddy that comes out. We go hit the trails, and we get to this one section where we're coming out. We're about, I guess, a mile and a half from exiting the trail. And that's to give you an idea, at any given time in the trail, I'm a mile from my house. I mean, really, there's miles and miles of trails, but I'm not really far. So we hit this section, and it starts to get dark, so we have to flip our lights on. And I use a waist lamp, and he's just got a headlamp. And so I'm in front. We come out onto the main trail, and we're probably a little over half a mile from the exit, which is a block and a half from my house. And so we're on the main trail, which is where most people are. And, it's a loop. There's a loop trail that goes around the whole park. So it's very highly populated. Not many people out there. We see one guy running without a light, and it's dark. And it's like, that guy's crazy. And so we kind of go in the direction of him. And it's just weird.
Let's
I don't know
run
how
away
you
from
not,
that guy.
yeah. I've turned my ankle inside out. Once is enough. I need to see everything on the ground. And these waist lamp, if you use a waist lamp, you can see like it shows up everything.
Such a game
It's like
changer.
three-dimensional game changer. And so I'm running, and he's about 10, 12 feet behind me. And I'm just cruising, and I hear him yell out loud, "Whoa, what the hell was that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And he's behind me. I don't see anything because I have a waist lamp on. And he's like, "This thing, giant bird just flew right over your head. It was like inches from you." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, it must have been an owl." And he's like, it's over there, it's over there. So he points up in the trees, and I take my waist lamp off and I shine it up, and my lamp is like a headlight of a car, so it shines up the whole woods. And there is the owl, probably 40 feet away up in the tree. And I mean, beautiful creature. It's a beautiful creature, right? And I'm like, there it is. I finally got, it's like, ah, cool, cool. He's like, oh, okay, he's cool. We'll just keep going. I'm like, let's just keep running. And my friend's a little freaked out, but he's like, okay, let's keep going. So we start running down the trail, and he screams like, and I mean like a woman getting her throat cut, like just like yeah, like in a horror movie, right? And I'm like, what the? I'm like, what are you doing? I thought he was joking. I thought he was just like joking around. He said, shoot again. And because I have a waist light, I can't see anything above like this level. I don't see
Yeah.
anything up above me. And he said that it was like so close to your head. And of course, he says it's like the wingspan out, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what's going? And then he's like, it's over there, it's over there. And so we see it. It's a little closer in the trees now, and we're still moving. We're trying to get away from this owl. And so I take the light off again, and I'm shining it up. And now we're trying to scare it away. I'm like, go, get out of here. And it's ignoring. It's kind of turning its head. It doesn't want to look, pretending like it's not there. He's trying to be very sneaky. And I'm like, we already seen you twice. We know you're there. It's like, what, me, huh? What, me?
What are you
I mean,
talking about? I
yeah,
didn't just swoop
it's
down
pretty
on you.
funny actually. And I was like, I'm trying to like shoo, 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 right? And it would not go away. I'm like, okay, well, let's just keep moving. So we kind of kept moving. Let's just get out of here. And so we start running again, and he screams again, like at the top of his lungs. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? He's like, it did it again. And thank goodness, it didn't actually hit me. But I've since heard stories of people that get hit and they cut their head and get clawed because those
Yeah.
claws, those talons, I mean,
Oh yeah.
Razor.
they'll slice you up, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it just got close and then maybe because I had a hat on or had a headlamp, or didn't have a headlamp or got close enough and realized that I wasn't what it thought it was, and it just didn't hit me. But it was definitely trying to get rid of us. And it's weird because it wasn't like typically I hear they're trying to protect the nest or protect babies, and for some reason it just did not want us there. And I was like, we got to get out of here. But at this point, the third time, it's sitting in a tree, probably 12 feet from me, so I can see how majestic and beautiful this creature is. But at this point, I have a stick, and I'm kind of swinging the stick, and I turned my light on to where it's flashing, trying to make maybe this will scare it away. And of course, it's
Yeah.
spinning its head all the way around, looking the other direction, like whatever. And then I hear a noise down the trail, and it apparently does too because it turns and looks. And we have you wouldn't think so, but tons of coyotes, like more coyotes. I mean, coyotes rule the city of Seattle. They do, and
Really?
they live in Discovery Park,
Huh.
and they're everywhere. I mean, they troll the neighborhoods. They steal cats, small dogs. There's enough bunnies here to feed them forever. And there's nothing. They don't have any predators, so there's nothing to manage them. And they're just so maybe I was like maybe a coyote's there, or maybe it saw a coyote and thought I need to protect something, but it eventually lifted up and flew in the opposite direction, like kind of up into the woods. I was like, that's our cue. Let's get the hell out of here. And so at that point, we just took off running, and saw another guy coming down towards us, and I was like, yeah, you don't want to go that way. There's a very angry, aggressive owl. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go the other direction. So, and it's pitch dark at this time, and we only saw two other runners. But it's crazy because I hear all these stories. It's like, oh, if you see a cougar, act big and scare it away, and if you see a bear, yell and scream and it'll go away, or talk in a low voice and you'll scare it away. There is absolutely nothing that scares these owls. I mean, really, they are not scared of anything. I mean, I don't know. It was just it scared the hell out of me and my friends. Like, I'm never running in the dark ever again with you. Like, this is not going to happen. He was legitimately frightened for his life. Like, he was like shaking, and he was just, it wasn't. And I'm like, I understand. It's scary. And so, I mean, after that, I was like, I got to do something about this because I want to run in this park, but I don't want to be literally looking over my shoulder, worrying about what might be behind me.
But
And
I
I
mean, if
had
you think
heard
about it, if your buddy had not been there, you may have never have known that you were
I
getting
wouldn't
attacked
have
by an
known
owl.
because dead silent. You can't hear them. Like, like, I mean, crows, I've been dive bombed by crows. They make noise. They squawk, they make noise, they're
Yeah.
flapping. birds, bees fly by. You hear everything. You hear, anything in the woods, squirrels, coyotes. I've jumped out of my skin before because of a squirrel trail running, thinking it's like a bear. It's got to be a bear. No, it's a squirrel. It's this big. I mean,
They
you
make
all
them.
know.
They are the loudest animals. I
Yep,
swear.
I know. Justin, you probably think everything's a moose that's coming after you, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, and they are. So it's fair.
yeah, which I can't imagine running into a moose. That's a moose is
Yeah,
taller than me.
yeah, yeah. We
But
had these Alaska Yukon moose too, so they're even taller. Man.
but um, but yeah. So I started at that point. I'm like, okay, something's got to change. So I was like, I had heard this. Somebody had posted on a local Reddit site about there's different neighborhoods in Seattle, and this is an area in West Seattle, which is kind of south and west of the city, and it's on the water, and you can see it across the Puget Sound, so it's kind of southwest of the city, but they call it West Seattle. And this is a person that would run their regular route, and they're not in the woods, they're not trail running, they're on the road, obviously near some wooded areas, and they would be doing it before sunrise, right? So in the morning, and they were swooped numerous times. A couple times they were hit. And this is a woman who she discovered that she had her hair in a ponytail, and apparently if the owl sees that, they're like, that looks like something I want to attack,
Oh,
which I've
okay.
heard as well. But she had heard if you put eyes on the back of your hat, that it scares the owls away. So she made this kind of makeshift, like she had a beanie with googly eyes on it, and she has a picture of it. It's hilarious. And I thought, that would work, but what if there was a hat that already had the eyes on it? And so I was talking to a buddy, and I was like, I got to talk to. I'm a Boco gear ambassador, so I
Yeah.
I rep their hats, and I have for years, and I probably have an addictive amount of hats, I guess you would say. I have at least 65 of their hats. It's
Oh
crazy.
my
I have a
gosh.
problem, but I really do. Like you, Justin, I have a shaved head. I have for
Yeah.
years, but I've been a hat guy since I was a kid. It's probably why somehow the gods or whoever decided I wasn't going to have any hair anymore, because you're going to cover it up. Fine, we'll take it away. So all I got, this is all I've got. I just grow the
Yeah.
beard and have
Yeah.
fun with that. But yeah, so I have a lot of their hats, and they do custom, and I get a discount on custom from them. And they do pretty much, I know you've seen their hats because they do custom hats for multiple races,
Oh yeah,
including
they're everywhere.
they do a javelina. They just did Cocodona hats. They do it for everybody, and they're great, incredible hats.
Yeah.
So I sent the email to the rep there and told her the story. And she sends me this email back, and she says, we are dying over this story. This is the most incredible email I've ever gotten." And she's like, we were so excited to do this project, and then you got to tell everybody in the Boco team about it and stuff. So, I was trying to get the idea across, and like, this is what I want, this is what I want. And I sent this image. Actually, the funny thing is this image was created by ChatGPT.
Oh my
I
gosh,
I just typed
hilarious.
in barred owl with bright yellow eyes in the woods, and came up. And then I just zoomed in on it and sent them the image. And then, so
That is
yeah, they got
so
the,
great.
yeah, it
That
worked.
hat
It
is
worked.
so great.
And so they sent me back. They first sent me back like the first cut, and I'm like, no, the eyes need to be bigger. You need to be able to see it from like 50 feet away. And so then
Yeah.
they zoomed it in. I'm like, that's perfect. And then they put this cool, camo on the top, and then of course the underside says, I don't know if you can read it.
I'll meet you on the trail.
Yeah, which is funny because you always say that we'll meet you on the trail. So now my hat says I will meet you on the trail.
Oh, I love
Uh,
it.
yeah. So obviously that's, but yeah. So I sent it, and then of course, the long story short, they got my hats, and when I saw it, I was like, this is incredible. I love it. And so the whole idea is, obviously, if you're running at night, you just flip it around, and the eyes behind you, obviously you have eyes in front. So the owls
Yeah.
never come at the front, they come from behind. But if they see those eyes, they're going to think they're being looked at. I've heard the same thing about cougars too. If you wear eyes on the back of your hat, they see that, and they
Mm.
won't, they tend to stay away because they think they're being watched, because they like to be stealth and
Yeah.
not be seen. Although I did have part of me thought, well, maybe, hopefully it doesn't try to mate with me, because it is an owl and it sees it and says, "Ooh, she's pretty."
She's got big eyes.
Yeah, lands on my head. That would be the exact opposite of what I would want. But nobody wants that.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
beautiful creatures, but I don't want to mate with it. Um, But
That's
I
too
mean,
funny.
so far it has worked. I mean, I've gone out numerous times through the same areas wearing the hat, dusk time because I'm a night runner and not a morning runner, and never see even and never seen anything, and no other issues. Of course, if it
Cool.
did swoop and I didn't see it, I might not have known. But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm safe at least. I haven't been attacked again. But
That's
yeah.
cool.
So that's the story of the hat and where it came from and how it all came about. I mean, it was funny because I started like I went into the store and they had this little display of all these. They changed the displays. It's like a Met Market. I don't know if you know what Metropolitan Market is, but it's kind of like a I don't know, just a local market,
Yeah, yeah.
local-ish chain. And they always have these little displays with different things seasonal. And I walk by and I look and there's like a obviously for children, it's a little tiny stuffed owl, baby owl, so of course I buy it and I'm like, put it in my car. It's like, I'm gonna just start adding these little tokens just to see, or totems, I mean, just like I'm gonna become friends with the owl so they know that I'm a friend and not a foe. And to
Oh,
send that energy out into the universe. So all the owls tell their owl buddies, hey, leave this one alone, all right? Look at his hat. Look how cool it is. Like he loves us.
you need to
Um,
change your Instagram handle to like the Owl Man or something like that.
Well, all of my friends, like we ran a race, and it was like a two-team relay, and it was a fall race in the dark at a park in the east side of Seattle, like across the lake in Bellevue area,
Hmm.
and awesome. We had some awesome trails so close to the city out here. It's just pretty incredible. But it was a two-person race, and my team was called the Owl Whisperers, right? I don't know if you hear my dog. My dog is
Yeah.
barking, but so so everybody's just now when we create teams, like for even for Ragnar, they make the team list. They just put an owl icon. That's me. I'm the owl guy, and then like that's who I am, like the owl guy. Like so,
Totally.
I've become synonymous with the the owl. What is it? The emoji, the owl emoji that you can
Yeah.
see on the. I've just
That's your
that's
like
me.
number
That's
one
I'm
used
synonymous with
emoji.
it. Yeah, so I probably should change my Instagram handle to Jeff Beer runs with owls or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
there you go. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Jeff Greer runs with
So
owls.
I may do. I'm probably doing that tonight, right when
You
I
got
leave.
it.
So
You got to do it
I
tonight.
hope you do. I hope you
Yeah.
do. I'm gonna
yeah,
be I'll be on the lookout for that one.
yeah.
That's too
But
funny.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things, and I've got this. I, I waited years to get this sleeve, this octopus sleeve. I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
full sleeve
that thing's
octopus
awesome.
because I spent a couple hours watching the octopus at the Seattle Aquarium, and I fell in love with this creature. I'm like, this is my spirit animal. I will never eat octopus again at a sushi restaurant. This animal is the most amazing creature in the world. So finally got this, and I was like, what am I going to do on my left arm? And it's like,
Well, you
oh,
already know.
now it's going to be an owl, a full sleeve of
It
an
should be
owl.
an owl swooping on a runner.
Well,
So then you
I
get
wa- it,
two
wa-
pieces. You get your running, you get trail running, and
yeah,
then you get the owl coming in. That'd
yep,
be
yep.
funny.
It was going to be an osprey. I don't know if you've ever seen an osprey
Yeah,
dive
Yeah.
when they
yeah,
kick their wings back, and they
Yeah.
yeah.
dive in. It's going to be an
Incredible.
osprey grabbing a salmon, which is very northwest.
Yeah, yeah.
But the owl is just so either it's going to be my sleeve or it's going to be my whole back is just going to be an owl with the big eyes. And anyway, it's going to be tattooed on my body at some point for
That's
sure.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, you mentioned a Ragnar, and you're
yeah,
literally like fresh off today from the Ragnar.
yep, yep.
How so I'm not truly familiar with those. I mean, I know
Okay,
that it's a team of thing.
yeah.
How many people do it? How many miles is it? Like, what's it? What is it like? Work us through it.
Well, uh, interesting thing enough is Ragnar is really what got me. It really got me hooked into running. But we have a team that we've done since. I mean, I started running in 2019 and hooked up with this team, the Stoop Beer Runners, which is a brewery running team. They were like the OG brewery running team. Now every brewery and every brew club does a running team, but they were the only ones doing it, especially in Seattle, which is a huge brewery town. Um, and I hooked up with them, and they're like, "You got to do this Ragnar thing." I'm like, "What's that?" And I'd never ran more than 3 miles until that run that Sunday, that February of 2019. It's a 3 mile run. I'm like, "Well, here's my first 3 mile run,"
No way to
and I was
drop
like,
into it.
"Yeah." And then they're like, "You got to do this Ragnar race with us in July." I'm like, "Wow, I've never ran more than 3 miles. What is it?" "Oh, you end up running, 10, 12 miles. It's the low end. You can do it." And so, long story short, I joined the team. It was my first year doing it. And it was 2019, and basically what it is you take 12 of your friends and you want them to be friends because you're stuck in a van for over 24 hours with each other. You split into two vans of six, so it's 12 people, and you run roughly 200-ish miles. Um, and each person runs three legs. So you run one, and then you wait about 8 hours, and you run another one, and then 8 hours later you run another one. Which,
Perfect way to
if
just
a
get
bunch,
locked up and,
oh
stay
gosh,
tight and
it's so hard to do because you know, and of course you're in a van, so you're not that comfortable, and you're just eating all day and snacking, which is the good part. Um, and then usually when you the first six runners, they run the van, you hand off to the second van, and then that van goes and does maybe gets a meal, goes to a brewery, has a beer, meets up, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9 hours later when they're finished with their runs, and then you swap off to the next van, and then that van gets a rest. So
oh, okay.
and it ends up being, I mean, we've had our we're usually around the I was on the team that was the fastest. The year we got second place as a team was we just over 24 hours, like 24 hours and 24:40, I think. And we were like so close. And then that was back when I ran faster than I do now. Then I became a trail runner. And now it's like forget fast.
Yeah.
But so the funny thing is this year, this would be, I guess this would be my what is it, 29? That's I don't even know how long it's been. So I've been running for 6 years. They didn't do one in 2020
Mhm.
because of COVID, and so we started our own. We called it the Stoopnar. Stoop is the brewery. STOO. I think I got a. Anyway, I don't have a. I thought I had the little beer koozie, but I don't. But Stoop, STOUP, and they're a local brewery that does a lot of things, and they're the ones who had the run club. So we created Stoopnar, which was basically a relay, a two-team relay from brewery to brewery to brewery to brewery, and then back to the main stoop. And so we just did our own, and we still do that every year, different rendition of it. So
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
5 years of doing the local Northwest Passage, Ragnar. This is our fifth year. It starts at Blaine at the border. I mean, you can spit over to Canada. It's right there. Not that you would, but it's like you can walk. It's funny because you can walk over a ditch and be in Canada, but then all the guards come up, and if you try to come back, that's when they take you away.
Yeah.
So, but it's you're right there. It's like a park. It's called the Peace Arch. They've got this huge Peace Arch, and it's the Blaine. So you start there, and you run through some of the most beautiful areas in the Northwest. Through you're running, and obviously it's all road, which is horrible, but I didn't think it was horrible until I started running trails, and now I know how horrible it is. Yeah, so you run all through these things, and then it's at one point I mean, it's just beautiful country up here. It's a lot like Alaska. Are you in South Dakota,
Yeah.
Robin?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never been up there, but I'm sure it's got equally beautiful areas, probably a different climate, but certainly equally beautiful spots to be outside. But the Northwest is known for its beauty, tall trees, and then the water and everything's so close. But you weave through, and it's not a straight shot, but you end up going to the very low end, the bottom end of this island called Whidbey Island. Um, and you weave through 200 miles, and at one point you come across, and there's a bridge. It crosses over what they call Deception Pass, and it's this really tall bridge through the woods, and you run across that bridge. And I did it a couple years ago on that leg, and they call it the Ragnar leg. It's the longest and hardest leg, and so you get a special medal for it. Every
Huh.
Ragnar has a special leg where you get a special medal. It's usually the highest elevation, or the the hardest set of runs or whatever.
What is the numbers on that section?
Uh, that's a 10-mile run. It's usually when I ran it I started at 4 a.m. And so when I'm crossing Deception Pass, when I'm crossing the bridge, the sun hasn't quite come up, but the glow is there.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
just epic. And you're
Yeah.
crossing, and you're hundreds of feet above the water, and it's this huge passage that it's taking people out of the sound and takes you out into the ocean. So
Mm.
and you could look down, and there's all these swirling eddies that it makes it kind of tricky to navigate. And so, but you're really high up, and you're running across a little sidewalk that has about a waist high railing that drops you to your death to the water. And
Just a cool breeze or an owl takes you out.
yeah, totally. And about a shin high tiny little wire that separates you from the highway.
Oh,
And this
perfect.
highway it's a two-lane highway, but
Shin
all
high.
one tractor. It literally is about up to just below my knee. it's just a little wire that says don't cross this, but
No.
then of course an 18 wheeler will cross, and then you're just like, "Ugh," you know. But that's a pretty epic part of the run, and of course you're running continuously, and so you get some beautiful sunsets across the fields of some of the Skagit Valley, which is like this huge farmland area, and then you go in, and then of course once you get across the island, all the final runs are all on that island, and you're going up and down the hills, and there's tons of hills, there's tons of ups and downs, and I don't know what the actual elevation is on that. I think they say it's like 900.
Okay.
When I ran it, my watch said it was more like 700. But it's got, some good downhills and then some climbs. We have a lot of hills out here. So,
Yeah. Little
um,
rollers.
heck, even where I live in Seattle, in this neighborhood of Magnolia, it's just almost impossible to have a flat run. Like my my 6 mile run at night is 700 feet of elevation, and that's all road. So I tend to run a lot of hills, but yeah, so it's just beautiful and beautiful scenery, and then um, it ranges from, I think the lowest mileage is probably like 12 miles, and then that Ragnar leg had about 22 miles. So
Oh, okay.
I only ended up running 15 miles this year. So, but
Nice.
typically I'm in this. I started the race off this year, which I've never done. Typically I'm in the second van, and usually towards the end, so I'm waiting all day to run. We
Oh my
send our team
gosh.
off and like, okay, let's go hang out for, you know, multiple hours while we're waiting to run, and then you get that anxiety, and you're just waiting, waiting, waiting.
Yeah.
But this time I started it, so that was a lot of fun. Then you run, and then I was done at 3 a.m. because that was my last run, and then I just wait till everybody finishes. But the cool thing this year is we had a masters team because we finally got everybody to catch up to us old guys. Yeah, there's four of us who are over 50. I'm 53,
What
and
do they
then
count as masters? Is that 40?
40 over. Yep.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
finally had enough for the team, and there's four 50-year-olds. Three of us are in the same van, 50 plus. So one's 50, 56, and the other's is he 50, 57? Yeah, they don't look 56 and 57. So, and I'll be 54 in a couple months. So, but yeah, so as a master, our first year doing a masters team, and we got first place, which
Oh,
is pretty
awesome.
awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
first place in the
awesome.
masters for all the masters. So that's exciting because I'm never going to podium anywhere by myself. So being part of a team, kind of, you still, it's like, oh, we got first place. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I mean, obviously, you spend a lot of time running by yourself. So to get together with a team and to spend 24 hours with these people that you call your friends and family, and getting to do it together is pretty epic. I know I've heard Justin, you talk about running with friends, and I
Yeah.
know Robbie likes to be alone in the woods, which, to be honest, I love that too, man. I just like, I dig it, getting out there by myself, and I'm always like, hey, you guys want to come over and run disco with me? And nobody ever wants to come run disco because we run it so much. And so we call it disco is Discovery Park. It's the name of the park.
Hmm.
They always want to go somewhere else. And so I tend to run in the woods a lot by myself, but it's a lot. You just stop and you just kind of soak it all in, and the trees and the birds. And if it's raining, the rain kind of falling through the leaves. It's just amazing. You just kind of get to a place where you're just, I don't know, like you've talked about it, like being extremely therapeutic, mentally, emotionally, just it fills you up in a way that never ever being on the road doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sometimes I think when I'm out on my runs and that like I'm kind of out in the remote area on a trail like today I was I wasn't it wasn't really a run because I went up a mile and a half and it was over 2,000 feet of climb, so you're not
Oh
running
wow.
up that, and so well I'm not running up
I
that.
I know some people who do. I have a
Yeah.
couple friends, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not running up
I'm
that.
not running, and it's shale, so it's like, yeah, I'm not running up that. I'm also not running down that, but sometimes I think like when I'm out there, I'm like, and this is a pretty popular area. I was the only one out there today, but I'm like, man, how many people have stood right here? And I think that's an incredible thing to think about, like how your body is able to put you in positions and places that a lot of people don't.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I always, appreciate that. Like my body was able to move me 2,000 feet above where I parked my car
Yeah.
and just stand here and look out over the mountains. And I just think that's an incredible thing to do. And I think you resonate exactly with that.
Oh yeah. It's incredible. I mean we have some incredible mountains and trails near us. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been into the Northwest or in this area at
Oh, yeah.
all. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, Seattle, I mean, within an hour I can be in the Cascades, some of the most amazing trail running ever. Um, and even when it's wet, it's just phenomenal. And I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I'm not going to go out there in the snow, but I have friends that have gone up, where there's snow at certain elevations and certain times of year, and just amazing. And then, to be so close to it, and with a lot of, I mean, you can get a lot of vert pretty quickly out there, so it's a lot of fun. The
Yeah,
nice
my
thing is
goal,
when it's
one of my
wet.
goal races in Washington is Chuckanut.
Yeah, that was my first in 50K. My only 50K, I guess I could say. It's epic.
That's a
So,
beast of a 50K to open
yeah,
up.
well, that's how the story happened. I mean, that's another story. So I ran my first, I was running for a few years, and of course you do the thing. Well, my first half marathon was at
Yeah.
COVID, so it got canceled. So I did it virtually, and it was awful. It was one of the worst runs ever. And I still did it, but I got a migraine 2 miles from the finish, and you could just see my paces just drop. But I still did it, right? And then it's next year, of course. Okay, I'm going to do the marathon thing. So I did the Vancouver Marathon. That was my first and only road marathon, and it was amazing. It was gorgeous. Like, it runs around the city, and then you're running along the water, and then you get to the point where you run around with the Stanley Park, which is 6 miles around the seawall, the whole thing. And that was the best the last 6 miles were the best 6 miles of the whole marathon. I don't know how I did it, and I did it anyway. I made it through. And but then my buddy's like, well, now it's time to do a 50K, and you got to do Chuckanut. And I'm like, dude, that's 6,000 feet up and down a mountain. This was a flat marathon. How can you compare the two? And so I got it. And once again, Ragnar, they don't only do road races, they do trail. And so here we have a Trail Rainier, which is not at Mount Rainier, but it's close to Mount Rainier. It's at Crystal Mountain, which is a ski resort.
Hmm.
And it has the highest elevation of any of the Ragnar trails. So, I mean, the climb is 2,800 feet, just the one climb up to the top for the first leg. It's like 4.8 miles, 2,800 feet, which isn't that
Wow.
that bad.
Yeah.
But if you've never ran a trail race or really run trails before, it was the hardest thing you ever did. And at the time when I did it, it was the hardest thing I ever did. But you get up to the top, and at the top of that ski slope, there's a gondola that will take you down, or you ride the gondola up to do the downhill route, which is one of the three legs you run, because they split it up into three different legs. The trails. And then this is a 8-person team, and you're camping instead of getting in a van. So but yeah, you get to the top, and then right at the top where the exchange is, you just turn around, and there's Mount Rainier, just like it's like right in your face. It's just
Wow.
huge and epic. It's gorgeous. And then the other direction, especially if you get up at the right time, the sun's rising, and I mean, it's just a beautiful spot. So that was really what was my thrust into trail running. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I think I'm a little bit addicted to this thing. And so my buddy's like, you got to do chucking that. So I started training for it, and then I did all my training in this park next to where I live, and get my first 2 hours on the trail, and then to do a couple 3 hour runs, and I did one 4 hour run where you're stopping like every hour back at the truck, and your truck's your aid station. You kind of
Yeah.
change your shirt because you're soaking wet, and change your hat and refuel, and a couple times it's dumping rain, and a couple times there's a little bit of snow on the ground, and sometimes it's like hot, and you're just doing it because it's what you want to do, and you're trying to do it. And so that was my first 50K, was chucking, and that was 2 years ago. And I mean, it's an incredible run. And the crazy thing about it is the first and last 6 miles, 10K out and the 10K back, are all pretty flat. So all of the elevation is within the 18 miles in the middle,
Yeah.
and which sounds like, oh, it's flat. But when you get done at the end of that run, and you get down, and you still have 6 pretty flat miles to run back. Nobody wants to run flat after you've run what 24 miles. Nobody wants to do that. It's the
No.
hardest thing ever, because at that point you're in your head, you're like, I can't stop, I can't walk on it's flat. you know I can walk uphill, and then gravity helps me downhill, but I can't walk now, it's flat. So you just, in your mind, it's a mental challenge, because it changes so much from that flat. And then you've got, there's like a 3 mile climb that's straight, and then a lot of cool ups and downs, and then there's the ridge, which is what it's known for. It's a 8 mile loop, and you're going through this really technical, extremely technical, rocky, big slabs of rock and roots and everything. And then you get back around, and right when you're getting about the 20 mile mark, there's a climb called Chin Scraper,
Uh-huh.
which is a mountain bike trail more so. And then you climb that. I think it's a mile and a quarter, and I think it's definitely over 1,000 feet. But I mean, you're obviously I mean, you're putting your hands on the ground at some point, walking up. And I was just like eating fig Newtons while I'm walking. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. You're hiking, it's like, and then you get up there and you got a 4 mile downhill, which doesn't sound fun either, and it's really not. And that's also where the pit toilet is, which is typically the first one you've seen in about 4 or 5 hours. So you definitely want to use that before you send it the rest of the way. But yeah, it's an amazing one. And then I actually was training for my second 50K, and I completely destroyed my ankle. I stepped on some ground that either the ground gave way or the dirt slid, and instead of planting, and I was coming downhill, instead of planting and turning, my foot kept going. The
Oh
ankle
yeah.
rolled under me, and it was just like boom. And yeah, that took me out for about 4 months. I had a lot of swelling and tons of bone bruising, and then it was the process of getting back all that back. And
Yeah.
so my whole
Yeah.
thing was like, I got to do chuck and nut again. I got to do chuck and nut again. So this year, 2 years to the date, the first time I did it, I ran chuck and nut again,
Nice.
and it was like some of the worst weather ever. It was
Yeah, I
dumping
saw
rain. I
I
don't know if
saw
you heard about it. Yeah,
yeah, I saw some of the videos of it was horrible.
it was, yeah, it was bad. And I'm like, and I remember the night before going, what the hell am I doing? Like, this is crazy. I'm like, and when I'm with a group, I'm with our group of guys, so it's like, do you guys really want to do this? You know? And then I remember getting woken up. You're getting up about 5:30 to go. Like, I think the race starts at 8, and you're getting up at 5:30 to start getting ready. And at 4:30 in the morning, I was woken by the rain. It was just dumping so hard on the house that we were staying in. It was just like, what are we doing? It's gonna be so nasty. And so yeah, it was rough. It was hard. And after about when I got there's a climb. You go through the woods 6 miles out, and then there's like a 4 mile up and down really amazing trail with some climb and a quick downhill, and then it's a 3 mile climb up this pretty open. It's a road. It's like a fire road that takes you up, and it's just a 3 mile climb, and then you're at mile 13 before you hit the ridge. And I was kind of hanging with a buddy, and he was struggling, and we were both kind of there, and I'm soaked through everything. I had my John G jacket, that's supposed to be waterproof. I, I got two shirts on. I got two pair of pants. I mean, I'm soaked. Every part of me is wet. I'm cold. My hands are numb. I get to the top of that climb, now, 3 mile climb, and I still can't warm up. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do here. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
That's
like ready to quit. I'm like ready to quit. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you've been waiting, you've been trying to come back for like this whole time just to do this race. Like, you'll warm up later. Just you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And it's not like Cocodona or something where you're hundreds of miles from, you're so far out,
yeah. Yeah.
like you're lost in the desert. It's like you're not that far from anything.
Yeah.
If something happens, somebody can come get you. And I
Yeah.
remember I had those little, remember, the little buffs that you could turn into a hat, or you could turn
Oh
into
yeah. Yeah.
I had two of those and a beanie in a Ziploc. And I pulled those out. They're the only things dry on me. And I wrapped those buffs around my hands like this, like mittens, and put that beanie over top of my hat, and then put my hood back on. And my buddy had just got back, and they're like, let's do this ridge. And and eventually my hands warmed up. And then it just was beautiful. And then the sun did come out for a brief moment, and it got better. But that ridge was, oh my gosh, it was a foot of mud, a foot. You would run, and your foot would just go. It was like sinking into like like marshmallow of mud, just,
Wow.
and it was easily up to the middle of my shin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. And at that point, we were back of the pack brothers for sure. Um, Everybody, hundreds of people had already trudged through it, and it looked like it might have well been a stampede of cattle that had gone through. And it was just trenched and trudged through and destroyed. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this. And of course, there's these huge rock slabs, which surprisingly, soaking wet, the rock was grippier than the mud, because if you've got Vibram, the Vibram sticks to that rock
Yeah.
like you wouldn't believe. So I'm sure you all know that, but yeah, so it was amazing. And yeah, I got my second ultra, and so I'm still an aspiring um, ultra runner, wannabe.
No,
But
man. 250Ks
yeah,
and
yeah,
extremely hard ones at that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're an
yeah.
ultra runner.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, as hard as that was, it was still easier than that freaking marathon, dude. I couldn't walk downstairs for 4 days after that marathon.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
like, it's just the road just does something different to your body. I
Yep.
mean, it's so repetitive and so linear and just beats your muscles and beats your tendons up. The trail changes so much. It's just you don't it's just it's hard. It's harder in a lot of ways, but it's way easier on your body. And at
Mhm.
53, I'm looking for easy on the body, do hard things that I can recover from and do
Yeah.
more hard things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, you had
that's a great
mentioned a
one.
little bit, getting a somewhat late start in life on running. What was the reason that you jumped into running so late in life?
Well, interesting. I so I've always kind of been not like a gym rat, but I've always tried to be consistent going to the gym, and I'd lift like once a week upper body, and then if I did anything cardio wise, it was either an elliptical or sometimes on a treadmill, or if it was nice, I'd go out and run. But it was always these really short intervals, two 20 minutes, never more than 2 miles, and it was purely just because I got to do something for cardio.
Yeah.
So I've never been a runner, even though I've been somewhat athletic. I played baseball. I was a skateboarder, which that's a whole other thing that'll wreck your body, and you won't find out until you're 50 and you start to run how much skateboarding wrecked your body. Uh, but yeah, so I had kind of slacked off a little bit on exercise, and occasionally at life you'd feel occasionally through my life I'd feel like I'd get like heart palpitations. You kind of feel it, and you're like, everybody's like, oh, that's kind of normal. You get this from time to time. Well, there was a period of time early in 2019 where I had a week where I was having them multiple times all day randomly, and they just weren't going away. And it was kind of freaking me out for good reason. And it was just like, what's going on? Like, you try to ignore it, but then it raises your anxiety level, which raises the amount of palpitations you're having. It's this cycle you get into. And I just remember going, you know, I don't know if something's wrong with me or not, but I probably should maybe just start getting active again. And of course, the thing you can do to get active is you can walk out the front door and go for a run.
Hmm.
So I had the Nike
It's the
app, and I just,
cheapest sport out there, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
until you start doing it and you realize that the
It's
amount of
the
money I spend on running, I could have paid for my daughter's college loans at this point. Don't don't tell her that though, because I'm trying to get her into running. But yeah. Which on a side note, she ran her first ever half marathon a couple weeks ago when I was
Awesome.
originally supposed to be on that day. Uh, she's not a runner and never really been, but she dabbles, and then she trained and we ran it together, a half marathon, and she crushed it. Just
Nice.
beat 2 hours by 1 minute, and
Oh, that's
That's
and
awesome.
incredible.
trained for 7 weeks to
Oh
be
my
20
gosh.
again, to be 21 again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm hoping she falls in love with it like we all have and finds her place in it. But it's great. So yeah. Anyway, so I was like, I started running, and I was like, I got to start getting active again, and running was the way to do it. And I punch in the Nike app, and the guys talking to you, like the coach or whatever, one of the
Yeah.
coaches, so it kind of gets you motivated, and so I started doing it, and a month later is when I realized that the brewery right by my house, which I've gone to a lot, has a run club, and that was the Stoop Beer Runners. And then once you get in there, and then you meet people that are like family, add running to family, and you're hooked forever.
Yeah. For
You
sure.
know, it's like, and that's kind of how it started, and that was the whole progression of the first Ragnar, and then the next one, and then let's it's all those same people that are like, you need to do 50K, let's get you into trail running. And I just
For you.
remember when I hated trails and hated climbing and hated elevation. And now I'm just like, flat running sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's too hard. I like to climb a hill and, get my heart rate up and then stop for a minute and catch my breath and then run down. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
yeah,
Before you
there's
know it, your
something
friends will
about it.
be like, "Hey, let's go do Cascade Crest."
Well, oh, that's the
That's
roughwood,
the
100.
right?
that's the big
100.
100 out there. Yeah.
Well, I have a couple of my friends in this run club. Javelina was their first 100 mile.
Okay.
And then one of them did the 100K Javelina, and they also, two of those friends did. I don't know how much you're familiar with Mount Rainier, but there's the Wonderland Trail.
Hmm.
Hmm.
They did a straight run through the Wonderland Trail, didn't cap, ran through the whole thing nonstop, and
Nice.
which is ridiculous. It's 96 miles. It's
Yeah.
or 92 miles. It's ridiculous. And it's, you know, multiple, like tens of thousands of elevation gain. And the weather changes in an instant because the mountain changes everything. And they did that before Javelina. So it was kind of a training run for Javelina.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
a
I'm like,
good
you're gonna,
training run for a flattish
Yeah,
100
I was gonna
miler.
say
yeah.
desert flat
I'm like, you're
run.
gonna smoke Javelina, but it's so different. I mean, and then those guys are just keep building and building and building and just doing crazy stuff. And um, one of those guys, he's now training. They also go out and do the rut. Have you done the rut in Montana yet, or
No,
you heard
I,
about
I
that?
know about it. Yeah, but I haven't.
That's supposed to be an incredible thing, but sounds really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that that's bad or good. It just, yeah. But
Some of those 50Ks, man, they're just like they're out there, like Chuck and Nut, the Rut.
yeah.
One of my athletes ran Cody Peak 50K today, and it's like 9,000 foot of climb at a 50K. It's just like,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, the beast of 50Ks.
Yeah. Well, the one I was going to do when I hurt my ankle is Cougar Mountain, and it's literally right next to the city of Bellevue, and it's just it stretches. It connects three. Cougar Mountain connects to Squawk Mountain, which connects to Tiger Mountain, which is like this epic spot here for trail running and mountain biking. And the Cougar Mountain does, I think, about maybe 8,000 feet in the
Okay.
50K,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's a couple of big climbs, but it's so much just ups and downs and ups and
Yeah.
downs and ups and downs, and that adds up a lot. So that's another good one that's really close by.
Yeah. Man, there's just so many options. So many options.
I know it's crazy because before I started doing it, I never heard about any 50Ks, and now there's like one every weekend.
That's very true.
One every weekend that you can, more than one every weekend, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this weekend Big Gulch was happening. I think the what I can't remember her name, Strong Mama Miles, who
Oh,
the
yeah.
one who
Heidi.
paced with you, Heidi. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
she went out to run that.
Yep.
That was out in Wenatchee, which is just over the mountains.
Devil's Gulch. Yeah.
Devil's Gulch. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think they had a
so,
50, they had a 50 miler and a half marathon,
yeah,
and the 100 mile. So
yeah.
that one looked like a beast as well. I was like, nope, not for me.
Yeah, it's hot out there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. No,
I mean,
that's what gets me is the heat, man. I'm
mhm,
not ready for the heat ever.
yeah, yeah. This weekend for Ragnar, it was like 78, and I'm like, nope. And then I think about people in the desert; they're running like 120, like the ones who just did Badwater,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm like, dude, I'd probably get 3 miles and like I'm done.
Yeah, my
Melt.
shoes
You
start
know?
melting. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
enough for me.
I mean, I'm not a huge, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the heat, but I mean, I take ice cold showers. I mean, I love
Yeah.
the heat,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not like a slim, slender guy, so it's like got a little extra pounds, so it just makes you hotter. I sweat a lot. I've always been a run hot, sweating guy, you know?
Nice.
Yeah. But
Well, Jeff, what kind of shoes you running in?
uh topos.
Topos. Man, I'm
So
seeing
the
more and
topos.
more popularity of the
Yeah.
topos.
Yeah. I mean, I was a Brooks guy for the longest. I mean, I started out with Nike because everybody kind of does if you don't know what you're, and then got into Brooks, and of course we have a friend she does a lot of the graphic design for them, so I got a friend's family discount, which was nice.
Nice.
But what after the ankle and I came back, I would always wear ultras like all day for standing and working and stuff.
Mhm.
And just because I have my feet I've just messed up feet, and they're both different. I got bunion and my toes and cramp. And so I'd stand all day, but I never really ran in those shoes. And then coming off the ankle, I'm like, well, this is a good time to transition. And so I started running in the zero drop shoes and tried some ultras. And then I just wasn't a fan for running. And then there's a local shop right here next to our park called Seven Hills, and they're really big on trail running, and they've got all the topos. So the first set of topos I tried was actually a trail shoe, and I was like, this is amazing. And I mean, a real wide toe box, but like, narrower in the midfoot, so your foot's not slopping, sliding around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that. And then once I started getting more and more, getting back into trails and getting back into adding more miles back again, I decided I need a little more cushion. So most of their shoes are 5 mil drop, but they still got the super wide foot shaped toe box,
Yeah.
and so they're all cut the same. And so I typically run now in a 5 mil drop, but they have a pair of zero drop trail shoes called the Pursuits that are they're one of the best shoes I've ever had. Like
Nice.
I'm like this, I can't believe this is zero drop. I mean, it's just the way your foot feels when you're running and moves, and it's a really comfortable shoe. But yeah, I run in those for both trails and road now. So I think the mountain racers, what I use on the trail, and then the phantoms or specters for the road. But
Yeah, I'm
yep,
noticing a lot more popularity of the topos. I tried a pair, I would say probably like 3 to 4 years ago, and to me they felt like a shoe that you would get out of the Dollar General. But
no,
I
not anymore. I think they've
I
changed it
might need
quite a
to go
bit. Yeah,
back and give them
yeah,
another shot because the amount of people that I see that are wearing them. But yeah, they were just kind of heavy and clunky, and they were trail shoes. I wasn't a fan, so I sent them
yeah.
back. But
I mean,
I
they
don't know.
kind of when you look down at them, you kind of have a little bit of a clown shoe look.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, my feet have never been more comfortable. So really, that's key for me.
yeah.
Space
That's
for my
good.
toes to spread, as much as they can and do. And
Yeah, for sure.
um, but what I had heard is, I don't know if this for a fact because I didn't really run a lot in ultras, but I heard that the quality of the ultra had gone down where they were
Yep.
breaking down a lot, and then the topo quality had just gone to the roof where they become a much more incredible shoe. So a lot of people have been switching from ultra to topo
Okay.
and being really happy with it. So, but everybody runs in what
Yeah.
if you like what you run in, if you're comfortable and it makes you feel good, then that's your shoe, right?
That's it. 100%.
Yeah.
What pack are you using?
Solomon, the
Yeah.
Advanced Skin 5. I need to get the 12 so I can spend some more time out because I'll stuff that thing. And I mean, I've got it stuffed, I forgot. And I don't like using the bladder because I like
Hmm.
to see and feel how much water I've used. If I
Yeah.
use a bladder, I'll go through it too fast and then like, oh, I'm out of water. So I do the, I do the flasks, and that way I can dial it in to exactly how much I'm drinking or whatever. And I tend to drink more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Before I got the Owl nickname, they used to call me, well, Water Boy or Wet Jeff. I don't know what, I don't know which one you want to be. I like Water Boy better, but
Yeah, that's probably
but Wet Jeff probably also correlates to how much I'm sweating. I tend to lose a lot of liquid when I run, so.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. That's
but
too
yeah, I
funny.
love the Solomon. I've never. The first time I got it right before Chuck and Nut and hardly used it. And when you're out there, I'm out there for 7 hours on a trail, and I forgot that I had a pack on.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't shake or move, and you take something out of the back, you just cinch it a little bit, and it's totally different than the type of backpacks with the cinches down here, and
Yeah.
where it just gets tighter on your arm. Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's a great pack.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for coming on. Where can people find you? What's your social handles? You better tell us your new social handle so people can actually find you. And then you have these hats for sale. So
I do. I do have them for
where
sale.
can people buy the hats?
Uh, the best way is I don't have like a thing set up or anything. I'll give you my Instagram, which is Jeff Greer runs Seattle. Greer is in Greer. Jeff Greer runs Seattle. You'll find me that way. It'll probably change to Jeff Greer runs with owls. I think that's kind of what I want to do. So either one of those things will find me. But if you do Jeff Greer Seattle, you'll find me. And then if you just DM me, we can do it over Venmo. And yeah, I think it's been like $30 plus shipping for the hat. That's discounted. I think Boco sells this type of hat, which is their running trucker. It's got
Yeah.
a softer back with
Mhm.
laser cut. They sell it for $38 on the site, so that's the same discount that I get for Boco. So it's like a Boco team discount. So I'd sell them for 30. I think shipping is usually about $5 in the
Nice.
States. Um,
Awesome.
but yeah, pretty awesome hat. And yeah, DM me there, and that'll be the way to do it. But
Sweet. We'll go out and
you
buy
didn't,
you a
you didn't,
hat. Get
yeah,
a
you didn't
get.
even ask me about my dinosaur though. I was so waiting. I was so ready.
Oh, I didn't. I knew I
I know
forgot
you're
something. I
changing
was
things
like,
up, but
I was like, what? I know. I got my notes here, and I don't know. I missed it. Okay.
like I listen to it every time. Okay, this is what I do. This is what shoe I wear. You know,
We
I
like to
I
change it up.
I
We just like to change it up.
I
We're not even
feel
gonna
with
ask you. No.
tailwind. I feel with tailwind. Tailwind. I just posted a
No,
video about tailwind. I had a tailwind shirt and a tailwind hat. I'm like, look how much I promote tailwind. You would
I
think they
didn't.
wouldn't have rejected me for the team again,
Oh my gosh, I didn't
as
even
much as
ask
I
you that
promote
one
them.
because I thought I figured you mentioned earlier you were Fig Newton, so I was just like, oh, he's just like a normal trail runner, just
No,
running on Fig
all
Newtons.
all my friends make fun of me because I always try to get these sponsorships from these people. Like I try to get in Gingy to put me on their team and the Toe Sox, and I try to get Tailwind. And I was on with Tailwind for a bit. Tailwind gave us some free stuff for
That's
Ragnar
cool.
a while ago
Oh
when Maggie Guttural was on the team there when she was running the athletes.
yeah,
She's great. If Magatron runs, I don't, you probably see her out
yeah. I
there.
know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But yeah, so then you apply and you just like, sorry, you see the note, it's like, thank you so much for nope, I'm not on the team. It's like I don't even want anything free. I just want to say I'm a tailwind runner. Or it's just kind of one of those things. But anyway,
That's
so
funny.
but
So what's your dinosaur? What are you
so I
picking and why?
so the interesting thing is I hope I can remember the name of this dinosaur, but I like was researching dinosaurs, trying to figure out, like everybody's like Velociraptor. Or I think the guy you had on like a couple of ones ago said he was like pterodactyl. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't believe anybody hasn't said that yet. Like a flying dinosaur, who can beat that? But
Yeah.
there's this one dinosaur. It's like it's I'm gonna get it wrong. Therizosaur. It's a therizosaur,
I mean, you
something like
could
that.
fool me. I don't
Really
know.
close. I kind of want to pull it up on my phone, but I was like, oh, that's an interesting dinosaur, and it looks kind of odd, you know. It doesn't have the typical dinosaur body, It's kind of got some strange, and so I kind of relate to that. Like I'm not the typical, you know. Everybody has different body types, right? So you
Yeah.
kind of got these long legs, but I'm kind of like, whatever. I don't have that elite runner physique, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Which which
Trust me.
is which is
Neither do
beautiful.
we.
Yeah, and that's why we relate. No,
Yep.
but
100%.
I love it. It's great. But it has these foot long or 3 foot long. I guess it would be 3 foot in size, but these big long claws. But it's a total vegetarian. And I'm like, why
Hmm.
does this dinosaur have these huge claws that could like slit the throats of any little dinosaur out there? But and of course it's got, I think it has a couple little horns, and it's just kind of a goofy. I feel like it's one of those dinosaurs that they found a bone and let's make some shit up and let's make it interesting. So no one forgets this dinosaur because everyone knows T-Rex and Stegosaurus with the spiky tail. We're gonna be like dinosaur scissor hands, and but we're only gonna eat like tree leaves and bark. And so yeah, and then I thought, oh, Therizosaur, it's got Riz in the name, so it's
Yeah.
you know, so it's as goofy as it is, it's still got Riz. So that's
Oh,
why I like that.
that's
Had to go with
that's
that.
too
It's
funny.
got
That's funny.
Riz.
You
Yeah,
did your research on that. Bravo, Jeff. Bravo.
that's
Well,
awesome.
thanks for coming on, man. It was a blast.
Yeah,
I
I
loved I
appreciate it.
loved hearing your Al story. You got to change your
Yeah,
social handle. We
I'm
need to
doing it.
see it.
I think I'm doing it right when I get off here.
All
So
right,
it will
perfect.
it will be Jeff Beer runs with Al's.
There you
There might be
go.
some
There you go.
spacing in there. It won't be all together, but you'll find it. Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed this
So
podcast like we did, we had a blast listening to Jeff and his stories. Please leave us a review, leave us a comment, subscribe to YouTube. This podcast is sponsored by Death March Running Company. If you have not heard of them, you're hiding under a rock or a tree, or you're getting swooped by owls. So get on there, find you some cool stuff, and use the code DMRC Justin 15 for 15% off. And we will
yeah,
see you on the trails.
I'll see.